My wife left me, had another man's baby, and now she is begging for a second chance. Am I the villain for saying no? Hey Reddit. I never thought my life would end up as the kind of story people share online for shock value. But here I am, sitting in the house that used to feel like a home, questioning every decision I've made over the past few years. My wife, Emily, and I were married for 7 years. 7 years of love, challenges, shared dreams, and plans for the future. At least, that's what I thought. About a year ago, Emily started acting differently. It wasn't anything dramatic at first, just little things. She seemed distracted, more focused on her phone than on our conversations. She'd cancel plans last minute or come home later than usual from work. I convinced myself it was stress. Work had been demanding for both of us, and I thought she just needed space. Then, one day, she told me she needed to talk. I could feel my stomach drop before she even said a word. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, refusing to meet my eyes. She said she wasn't happy, that she felt like something was missing in her life, and she needed time to figure herself out. When I asked if this was about us, she hesitated. That hesitation was my answer. She packed her things and left the next day, leaving me stunned, heartbroken, and utterly confused. For weeks, I tried to get clarity. Was it something I did? Was there someone else? She insisted there wasn't, that she just needed to find herself. But deep down, I knew. I knew there was someone else. A mutual friend confirmed my fears a few months later. Emily had started seeing a guy from her office, some hotshot manager who was a few years younger than her. It was a punch to the gut. Not only had she left me, but she'd left me for someone else while lying to my face. I threw myself into work to cope. The pain was unbearable, but I had to keep moving forward. I couldn't let myself fall apart, even though every day felt like I was barely holding myself together. Friends told me I should move on, that Emily wasn't worth my time or tears, but it's not that simple. She was my wife. She was supposed to be my forever. About 9 months after she left, I heard through the grapevine that Emily had given birth to a baby boy. My heart sank. It was one thing to know she had moved on with someone else, but now she had a family with him? It felt like the final nail in the coffin of what we once had. I didn't reach out. What was the point? She'd made her choice, and it wasn't me. Then, out of nowhere, she showed up at my doorstep 3 weeks ago. I opened the door to find her standing there, looking nothing like the confident woman who had walked out on me. Her hair was unkempt, her eyes red and puffy from crying, and she was holding a baby carrier with a sleeping infant inside. I was too shocked to say anything. Before I could even process what was happening, she broke down sobbing, apologizing over and over again. She begged me to let her explain. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She told me her relationship with the other guy had fallen apart. He wasn't the person she thought he was, and as soon as the baby was born, he bailed. He didn't want to be a father and made it clear he wanted nothing to do with her or the child. She was alone, scared, and overwhelmed. And now, she wanted to come back to me. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. She admitted she had made a terrible mistake, that she had taken me for granted, and she now realized I was the best thing that ever happened to her. She said she wanted to fix things, to be a family again. I stared at her, completely numb. The woman who had broken my heart into a million pieces, who had lied to me, who had chosen someone else over me, now wanted me to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. I asked her why she thought I would even consider taking her back after everything she'd done. She said she knew she didn't deserve my forgiveness, but she hoped I could find it in my heart to give her another chance. I told her I needed time to think. Honestly, I didn't know what to do. Part of me still loved her, despite everything. But another part of me was screaming that I'd be a fool to take her back. Over the next few days, I tried to sort through my emotions. I thought about our history, the good times and the bad. I thought about the pain she'd caused me, the betrayal, and the lies. I thought about what it would mean to take her back, to raise another man's child as my own. And then, I thought about what I deserved. I realized that forgiving her and taking her back would mean sacrificing my own self-worth. It would mean telling myself that it was okay for someone to treat me like a backup plan. And I couldn't do that. When she came back a few days later, I told her my decision. I told her I couldn't take her back, that too much had happened, and there was no going back to what we once had. She started crying, begging me to reconsider, but I stood my ground. I told her I hoped she could find happiness and that her child deserved a mother who could give him the best life possible. But I wasn't going to be part of that equation. She called me heartless, accused me of abandoning her when she needed me most. But I reminded her that she was the one who abandoned me first. She made her choices, and now she had to live with the consequences. It's been a week since that conversation, and I still feel a mix of emotions. There's a part of me that wonders if I made the right decision, if I'll regret closing that door forever. But deep down, I know I did what I had to do to protect myself. Am I the villain for saying no? Maybe some people will think so. Maybe some will say I should have forgiven her, that everyone deserves a second chance. But I've learned that sometimes, loving yourself means choosing to walk away from someone who hurt you, no matter how much you once cared about them. As for Emily, I don't know what her future holds. I hope she finds the strength to move forward and build a good life for her son. But I can't be the one to save her. I need to focus on saving myself. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's all for today's video, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for more exciting content. See you next time.